let's start, everyone. First of all, hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. Thank you all for joining and watching this webinar live. Today we have somewhat unusual webinar. As you saw from the announcement and the banner that you currently see on your screen, this webinar is hosted by two companies, StarWind and VirtualMetric. But before we dive into the topic and the introduction of our today's hosts, please put in the question box the quick message like a sign, the plus or exclamation mark, or any word that will be the confirmation that you hear me and my co-host Mark. Mark, let's do the audio check-in so the audience can hear us.
Yes, sure. I believe everybody can hear me, and I'm really excited to be here.
Okay, so let's give, so we have reactions. So as well, you can put the reaction or the message in the question box. Okay, so we have a lot of the reactions. Okay, perfect. So now, since we confirmed that everything, you can hear us and you can see us, see the screen that you're presenting. So yeah, so today we're discussing a very important topic, the difference between basic and advanced IT infrastructure monitoring. So today we would try to address all of the important questions of this topic and answer them. But before we dive deeper into the topic and the conversation, let's do the quick introduction. So first of all, my name is Vlad Savchenko. I'm a senior solutions engineer from StarWind Software Company. I'm working at the company for more than 10 years. I'll be one of the hosts of this webinar, and also please meet my co-host, Mark Arts from VirtualMetric.
Yeah, thanks, Vlad, and thanks everybody for joining. My name is Mark. I'm the senior solutions consultant for VirtualMetric. I joined May this year. I have more than 25 years of experience in monitoring, application performance management, observability, AIOps, and IT service management. And like said before, I'm really excited to be part of this webinar.
Thank you, Mark. As well, one of the another organizational moment. So everyone, this webinar has been recorded. So after we finish the webinar, the recording will be available in a couple of days. So you would be able to share it with your colleagues and with everyone that would like to hear this, the discussion of this topic and see what we can offer and all of that information. So with the introduction, we're done. So we can start the webinar. And we start with a quick look at our today's agenda. And on it, we have the following. So we'll start with the quick introduction of both companies making this webinar. So we'll have a better understanding about the companies and what they do for a living. Next, we're going to discuss the first part of today's topic. On that part, we will talk about the typical problems and pain points of monitoring the infrastructure. Also, on this part, we'll compare the basic and advanced monitorings. We'll following that part with the introductions to the two solutions from both companies that can solve the mentioned problems. And at the end, we'll discuss what is waiting for you after this webinar. Okay, so we're done with the agenda, so we can move forward and do a quick introduction of the both companies that hosting this webinar. So I'll start first with the introduction to the StarWind software. So StarWind software, for those who joined us recently and missed the intro and the agenda, once again, my name is Vlad Savchenko. I represent StarWind Software on this webinar and work as the senior solutions engineer at the company. And let me share a couple more words about the company. So company started its path in 2008 with the name of Rocket Division and primarily focused on delivering an SCSI target software. With the product evolution and development and as well as company growth, our leadership changed the company's name to StarWind Software Incorporated. The company's focus then shifted from providing a simple SCSI target to providing a reliable, redundant, high-performing shared storage solution. And then the StarWind vSAN was born, that was taken as the base for their further development and design of other products that the company has today. So today, StarWind as the company has different solutions that cover different types of requirements. In the company's product lineup, we have a multi-purpose HCI hardware solution that can be used for building all sorts of the clusters, a software-defined storage solution that creates highly available and redundant shared storage, an all-around backup solution, and virtual tapes as the archival storage. And I would say that's it. That's enough for the StarWind. So let us meet our second participant, the VirtualMetric. So Mark, please take it from here.
Yes, thank you, Vlad. So it's quite an interesting story, but our mission is definitely enable outstanding secure digital performance like a smart meter on your infrastructure. And that kind of implies that we created a monitoring platform that actually monitors your complete infrastructure. So let's go back to 2014. Our founder and current CTO, Yusuf, was back then working as a system engineer for an enterprise service provider. He was managing a very large virtualized environment, but he constantly felt that his time could be spent more efficiently. Actually, he lacked the tools to obtain data about how the environment was performing. None of the available solutions provided back then would give him enough insight. So he actually took up the challenge, and that was where VirtualMetric was born. So it started actually as a platform that he developed very efficiently, very lightweighted, extremely capable for virtualization environments. Then it geared up in a couple of years ago, where we added a lot of additional functionalities, and I will talk about them a little bit later, so I'll keep them for now. But we geared up in 2023, where we opened the headquarters in Amsterdam. So from a small setup in Turkey, we now have offices in Istanbul and Amsterdam, and we have global customers in North America, Europe, and Middle East.
Thank you, Mark, for that introduction. And now I believe we can move on and I would say start the discussion of our main topic for today. So as we discussed and mentioned on the agenda, we're starting with the typical monitoring problems and pain points. So the first one that we're starting with, it's the data volume and variety. So a lot of the data needs to be collected, stored, processed, and analyzed from each part of the production. As well, let's add that all of the data has different login formats, metric systems, collection protocols, etc., and all that happens in the real time. All of that complicates the aggregation and normalization of the data.
Yeah, so next we can talk about latency and network issues. Obviously, the network is very important for data collection. Things like data transfer speed, the stability of the network, and failures, they can all affect the collection, the analysis, and further alerting of those alerts. Because those issues can occur, the data collection could be, for example, incomplete, could be delayed, or in worst case, even fails. And especially with today's vast amount of, for example, log data, the stability of the network and the performance of the network is quite important.
Yeah, and the next one is the root cause analysis. So we already mentioned that having a massive amount of all sorts of the data makes the analysis very challenging by itself. And also we can add here that the mapping events and metrics across the large number of services makes it more difficult to identify the exact cause of an issue and to what components it's related.
Yeah, so the next one, scalability. This one is relatively simple. The infrastructure grows or changes, and it could be a very rapid process, right? So keeping the monitoring system up to date and able to reflect the changes can be very challenging, especially considering the time and resources that is required to keep that all up to date and perform that all.
And we're following that with the alerts noise. Also, we can make it wider and call it alerts fatigue and noise. So it's very common to receive too many alerts, many of which are false positives or low priority alerts, leading to alert fatigue. In other words, you will be so tired of alerts that you will miss the important one, or you can simply miss that important one through the list of tons and tons of them.
Following is compatibility. Actually, we can also put integration here as well. because often we use multiple monitoring tools for different components. For example, a tool that monitors the network, a different tool that monitors the log files, a different tool that monitors the infrastructure, the servers, the virtualization, etc., etc. So integrating and unifying those tools can be very difficult. Here we are not talking only about integration of the monitoring tool with the infrastructure, but also integration between the monitoring tools themselves.
And we're continuing with the management costs. This one, I would say it would be pretty easy. So it's a continuous struggle to find that sweet spot between solid monitoring, great capabilities, and acceptable costs for that.
Yeah, then let's talk about maintenance. This one is combined with compatibility and scalability, actually. First of all, monitoring tools, like any other software, require updates to be installed. That requires time and human labor to do so. Then the infrastructure grows or changes, so our monitoring needs also changes. The monitoring system should always reflect all those changes by reconfiguring or updating it. And that requires additional time and labor involved, and that process is continuously happening.
Okay, and we're finishing with the security. Here also we can add access control. So it's a challenging task to ensure that data is encrypted, in transit, and at rest. Also, we need to control the access to data, and the management and audit of the access control across multiple teams and tools is very complex. So you need to be aware who has the access to the data and who controls that access. So everything needs to be secured in terms of the control and security itself. Yeah.